Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponent to go first, and I have 5 vowels. Now there are 5 vowel 8-letter words, but I don't think I have one through the V or the M. So I'm looking to play off some of my vowels and leave a balanced rack. A-U-A is good, and I can play that above or below the M of VUM. I don't have any tiles which go before or after VUM. Now this isn't, well, let me see, I'm thinking about playing AUA and AM. It's only 9 points. I'm wondering if there's a better move playable through the V. Well, there's UVA for 8 points, and that leaves ADEIR. I think I'm going to play the more open move because a good rack leave is a priority early in the game. And this looks promising. I think I have radioed, and that plays in column 6 to make ovum. It also plays in row F to make dam. It also plays in row I underneath the U of VUM. So will all those openings remain open? I'm optimistic that one of them will. Yep. Ovum, the ovum spot stays open. Nothing goes over jam, nothing goes under jam, so I think it's just radioed and ovum, but that's fine. It's good to get an early bingo. Radioed 76 points. That's not a very good pickup. 2 pairs of duplicate tiles and the U, and the H and the K are not particularly bingo-y tiles, but they are scoring tiles, so I ought to be able to score well. The difficulty is going to be scoring well, and, well, even setting aside scoring well, the difficulty is leaving myself a decent rack leave. But there are quite a lot of opportunities on this board. I note that in row H I could have a 5-letter word going across to the triple word square. So I could play hurrah for 35 points, leaving AK. That's not bad. What else is there? Great, that's not blocked. I don't have anything that goes under jam. Now, what is a little bit of a hot spot is the double word square at E5, right next to the A of radioed, where my H or my K could go. So I could play hacker down there. Well, let's see what that scores. The rack leave is not good. That's 39 points. And hurrah was 35. Yeah, hurrah is certainly better. I'll definitely be able to score, or almost certainly able to score well next go. Not great, but I do have a 50-point lead at this stage. I note that my opponent played an S last move for only 23 points, so he may well be in possession of another S or a blank. Now I don't have a bingo. The two Gs really scupper me. And I would like to play off one of my Gs. I could play Gak at C5. Kago is also good. I'm not sure I have a spot for that. I'm not sure about bocage. Well, my opponent takes a 20-point lead. The move I'm considering is Gak down here for 30 points. And that's pretty good. The tiles that are left on my rack go quite well in column 4 parallel to Gak because Car takes an O in front. And the floaters in Ironiest are also quite attractive. Now, what I'm considering is Boke in column 12. 42 points, that's 12 more points. Wow, that is attractive. 12 more points is a lot. An S is only worth about 8 points. Now, clearly the downside of this move is retaining 2 Gs. But 42 points is a lot. And I'm not giving my opponent a scoring opportunity, whereas Gak opened up column 4 for a big score. I draw the X. Xing is good. That's playable at J5. There's no really hot spots for my X. But if I could play Xing, that would certainly help to resolve the rack. It would leave GI. I think I have to play an ING word to sort out the 2 Gs and play the X. I don't have to play the X, but I like to play it as soon as possible. It's not a bingo-y tile. And there are 2 blanks unseen, and we're quite evenly balanced in terms of score. So I want my rack to mature into a bingo-y rack as soon as possible. Xing assists with that. Good, it's not blocked. So this is what I'm thinking about. Let's see what it scores. $29 points. Well, I am opening up column 4 for quite a big score parallel to Xing, which isn't good. But what alternatives do I have? I'm looking in row C to see if I can place my XL on the double letter square at C9 and get across to the double word square. I can't see how I can do that. I can't use the K in row O. Now I note that my opponent only scored 10 points with that move, and only played off 2 tiles, he could be close to a bingo. I can't see anything better than Xing. Well, this is a fairly grim run of racks. I have Ghyll, G-H-Y-L-L, and that plays quite nicely. No it doesn't. I was going to say at C4, but H-O-R is not good. I could play Gilly, G-I-L-L-Y, at A4 down. 34 points. And I would like to play off a lot of tiles. This isn't, there are no good tiles on my rack, and there are 2 blanks unseen. I don't have a tile that goes in front of the X, so I can't use column 4 parallel to Xing. So this is what I'm thinking about. Well, actually Hilly is going to score more than Gilly. The rack lead's pretty horrendous, but I am turning over a lot of poor tiles, and I'm scoring 42 points, and that's quite a big score. Just checking to see if there's any comparable scores available with the V. My opponent's play of ET does not open up a column 3 because TI doesn't take a letter in front. Yeah, I think this is okay. Gosh, another horrendous rack. I am 60 points ahead, but my opponent will probably score reasonably well through the H of Hilly. It's not a wide open board, but there certainly are useful floaters. There's the A of Hurrah, there's the D of Dins, and to a lesser extent the G of Xing. If my opponent doesn't use the H of Hilly, he does. Okay, well, not too surprising. But what am I going to do with this rack? This does not look like an easily resolvable rack. I'm just looking around for opportunities to play anything. And it's difficult. Now, my C could go in front of the K of Boke, and ordinarily it would do so, and it does. I've got a cock. Let's see what a cock scores. The rack leave is truly horrendous, but if I can keep scoring, I will, and 39 points is definitely, or 39 points with a rack leave of GPV is definitely preferable to changing. Is that really the best I can do? This rack leave is one of the worst I remember keeping. Well, maybe there is something better. I can't see it. Great, I draw one of the blanks. The rest of my rack is a nightmare. I don't have a bingo through the floating A of Hurrah or the I of Dins. So what to do? Should I change? Probably not. I could play Rit at B2. 26 points. Well, that's the other blank out of the way. My opponent is 1 point behind. Rit is Probably just better than changing. Now, I could place my P at G8, making power, so I do have access to the U of ovum. I think pug is the best I can manage, and I would certainly want to split up the V and the W. I have got a blank. I'd like to maximise, well, I'd like to get a bingo out of it. There's only 22 tiles left in the bag, and the board is quite blocked, so I may not get a bingo. But I do need to play the winningest play. Prig plays in the same spot as Rit, leaving TVW. Is there really nothing better on this board? Well, this takes me into a 27-point lead. If I don't get to play my blank in a bingo, it may well be that the board simply gets too tight, in which case the G, the P and the V, provided there are vowels available, can be useful tiles in terms of scoring. This rack leave is horrendous, but I think Rit for 26 is better than changing. And this is much better. I'm sure I can satisfactorily resolve this rack. I don't have a bingo, but I could play Pervy at G2, making Yex. That would leave me with G blank. Great, I don't have to worry about the Q. So this is what I'm thinking about. £30 points. Now I've got a 5-point lead, which is, sorry, a 5-point deficit, so this would give me a 27-point lead. And my opponent's play of cat has taken out the floating D of dementia. So Pervy, well, Pervy doesn't block a bingo lane. And in fact there are no bingo lanes. Probably the only bingo lane is through the G of Xing or the N of ironiest. So it's a pretty tight board. So to get 30 points is quite good, I think. And now the vowels appear, and suddenly I have no high scoring tiles. And I note that with Pervy I've opened up the triple word square at H1 with the vowel next to a double letter square, so my opponent could play Trez for a big score. So I may need to do something about that if my opponent doesn't use it. Ah, whoa, I have Eugenia's. Do I? I don't think it goes. I was just looking at the N of ironiest. Yeah, it doesn't go. I'm one tile short. That's a shame. So are there any other bingo lanes I haven't considered? Because I do have Eugenia as a 7. No, I don't think there is. Nothing through the G of Xing. 30 points for my opponent. This is quite a nip and tuck game. The W is available as a floater. Aguweed I don't have quite. Guideway I don't have quite. So 8 tiles left. 2 Fs, a P and a Z are the high scoring tiles. I've got 7 and a bit minutes on my clock. So what can I do? I'd like to keep scoring. The trouble with getting a low score here is that if my opponent gets 30 points, suddenly I'm behind and the game just dribbles out or dribbles to a conclusion. So I would like to keep scoring. Which is not easy. I'd certainly like to play off the U as well. I mean, with the blank, given that there are bingo lanes open, I would hope to, well, maybe I should be trying to maximise my chances of getting a bingo. A play of GUE might leave a good rack leave. I note there are very few vowels left. There's only 3 vowels out of 15 unseen tiles. So my opponent may struggle. So I could play gauge at N2. 18 points. Now, let's just see what this looks like. The rack leave of EI blank is quite good in the context of a very consonant-heavy bag. This is also likely to attract my opponent down to the bottom left of the board, leaving the N of ironiest free. And with the blank, I have to regard that as a reasonable prospect for a bingo. The trouble with playing 18, given that I'm 5 points behind at the moment, is that my opponent may get 30 at 01. But he'd have to place the I or the O underneath the G, and that would leave him really short of vowels. So I wouldn't necessarily have to get a bingo to win. I think this is okay. Great. There's only 2 vowels out of the 11 remaining tiles. Pellerine doesn't quite go. Actually, the N has got to be in exactly 5th position. But this is such a promising looking set of tiles. So I've got the N of ironiest and I've got the W of weed to consider. Just considering the W first because it's more flexible in terms of its position within the word. But I can't see a bingo, so that then leaves the N of ironiest. My opponent empties the bag, so I can see exactly what he's got left. It means if I bingoed now, that would end the game. So I need to mentally run through the alphabet for the blank. I've got under 5 minutes left, so I can't spend very long doing this. And I'm mentally imagining the N on my rack as well. Okay, I'm up to C. Up to F. Gosh, this is quite tense because I feel there could well be one here. I'm up to J, K, gosh, N, words ending lined, lines. I'm up to R and I haven't seen anything. Pre-lines is not good. Can't see anything with a T. Gosh, is there something here? I'm going to have to abandon looking. I can't see anything. So I can't see a bingo, and I am 22 points behind. My opponent's got the Z, which he could play at M3. I've got less than 3 minutes on my clock. Okay, so my P is my scoring tile. Gosh, how annoying. This is really difficult to play the optimal move. Okay, Pale takes out an obvious spot for my opponent, but it only scores 22 points. That would mean 3-6-8. I'd be one behind. And I'd have EIR blank. Not great. I think I am going to play this though, because it takes out the Z spot. My opponent could play Zoe at N10. Okay, I'm agonising because I'm just hoping that a bingo appears in my mind that goes through the N of Irenaeus, but it's not happening. This doesn't feel great. Oh well. My opponent does just play ZO. He's leaving himself 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18 points on count back, so that probably won't be enough. But I've got only just over a minute to maximise my score with IER blank. I can play Jamia at F9 for 15 points. What else do I have? Gosh, haven't seen anything scoring more than Jamia. Expect my opponent may try and play off the F as well as the Z. But I really need to, just given the shortage of time, I need to focus on what I can score with my rack. Looking in column 7, parallel to radioed. So I could play ISA. $14 points. Perry, using the blank as a P in the same spot. 17 points. And that's more than Jamia. So Perry is my best player at the moment. What else is there? Well, I'm just looking in column 14 to see if I have anything parallel to Irenaeus. And I can't see anything. Just wondering if I can play underneath Jam, so underneath and parallel to Ovum. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking about, and this may be enough. I haven't got time to, or maybe I will have time to check the score. So Perry in this spot is 17 points. 385, that would leave me 15 behind, and I'd get 18 on countback. Perry wins. I think. Let's see. I think that wins. Just waiting for my opponent to decide what to do. And yes, 400 to 403, that was really close. Okay, let's see what I missed, and I'll also check to see if my opponent had a better move than Zoe at the end, because that was quite a critical play. Right, this was, okay, my opponent started, and then I had this. And, well, a whole bunch of low-scoring moves. And a Jew may have been better than AUA, but actually I don't think it was. I think DEIR is a nice leave. Radioed was the only bingo. Hacker and Hurrah were the two moves I considered, and I think it's difficult to distinguish between them. Boke for 42. Yeah. I think there's little between many of those moves. This is where I played Xing, but I didn't play it at C1, which would have opened up column 1. I dropped 1 point and played it at J5, and the J5 position is certainly better. Gil, A4. Okay. I didn't consider that. I saw the word, I didn't consider it in that spot. Hilly, 5 more points. Is it worth sacrificing 5 points to have IV instead of GV? Quite probably, actually. And this was when I hit a really horrendous rack. But you know, when you've got the opportunity of scoring 39 points, you postpone decisions about changing. My rack got worse here. I think this is where I played Rit, keeping GPV. Nothing is obviously better. Preggy, what a nice word. N1 for 42 points, leaving V blank. That's very nice. And also Peggy, playable at N2 for 40, is probably a better play. The R goes quite well with the V, and it doesn't open up the triple in the way that Preggy does. So I think my play of Pervy for 30 was certainly suboptimal. Good, no missed bingos here. This is where I played Gauge for 18, and I think that looks fine. Right, was there a bingo? Ah, Pilsner, there was. And it's a high probability one. Playable with the S. It's a word I have recently studied. Ah, well, I missed that. Never mind. What did I play? I played... Let's just have a look. I played Pell for 22. That doesn't make the list. But I think it's actually quite comparable to most of the other non-bingo plays. So I'm just going to... This is my opponent when he played Zoe. Let's see what he could have played. Now, he could have played Sits at J7, making Eds as well. He would have scored 4 fewer points. But his count back would have been 12 rather than 18, so 6 points. It would have made a difference of 2, so he'd have lost by 1 instead of losing by 3, so this didn't cost him the game. Was Perry the best? Yes, it was. Wow. Okay. Jamia would have won by 1 point, but Perry maximised the winning spread by 3 points. Well, that was a really close game and an exciting game. There was a missed bingo in it at the end, which could have cost me the game. Fortunately, in this particular game, it didn't. But word power is, it's not everything in Scrabble, but it's a lot, and you can see there that Pilsner would have nailed the game comfortably and avoided the agony of the last of the final move. So I hope you enjoyed that game. I think it was quite a good one, quite a number of interesting spots. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.